돌아버려.
I know this. The definition of inflationary and deflationary gap. Inflationary gap is a type of economic gap where a country's income exceeds full employment. Or in the easier words, it was when the actual aggregate demand was higher than the budgeted aggregate demand, when the economy is operating at full employment. As for deflationary gap, it was also known as recessionary gap. This gap occurs when the national income is lower than the full employment, or in the other words, or in the easier words, it was when the actual aggregate supply is lower than the budgeted aggregate supply. But what is the differences between inflationary and deflationary gap?
I know. Hi, I'm Nur Afiqah Qistina. The difference between the inflationary and deflationary gap is inflationary gap occur when the national income exceeds the full employment level, while deflationary gap occur when national income is below the full employment level. The second difference is the policy that will be implemented by the government if neither of them happen. Contractionary policy will be implemented by the government if inflationary gap happen. Government will reduce the expenditure and increase the taxes in order to increase the money supply in the market. Meanwhile, for deflationary gap, expansionary policy will be implemented by the government. Government will increase their expenditure and reduce the taxes in order to increase the money supply in the market. But what are the causes of inflationary and deflationary gap?
Okay, don't worry Aisyah. Today I will explain to you and everyone about the causes of the inflationary gap and deflationary gap. First, I will go to the causes of the inflationary gap. There are two causes of the inflationary gap, which are rise in aggregate demand and fall in aggregate supply. Rise in aggregate demand can be occurred by the variety things such as lower unemployment, increase in government expenditure, and increase in private investment. While the fall in aggregate supply can be occurred by the increased tariff or increased wages. Both of these causes will lead to the differences between real demand and real supply. So next we will move to the causes of deflationary gap. There are two causes of the deflationary gap, which are fall in aggregate demand and rise in aggregate supply. Fall in aggregate demand can be occurred by the higher unemployment, decrease in government expenditure, or decrease in private investment, while rise in aggregate supply can be occurred by decreased wages or decreased tariff. But how to solve the problem between inflationary gap and deflationary gap? Can you explain to me, Afiqah?
Don't worry, Aina. I know how to control inflationary and deflationary gap. The inflation and deflation is generally controlled by the government. The main policy used to control the inflationary gap is contractionary fiscal policy. The goal is to reduce the money supply within an economy. But how contractionary fiscal policy will be applied? Fiscal policy involves the government changing tax and spending levels in order to influence the level of aggregate demand. In order to reduce the inflationary gap, the government can reduce the spending and increase tax. Due to higher tax, the household will have less disposable income to spend. Lower disposable income will reduce the demand in the economy and lead to lower economic growth. Therefore, the inflationary gap can be reduced. However, to reduce the deflationary gap, the main policy used is expansionary fiscal policy. The goal is to increase the money supply within an economy. But how expansionary fiscal policy will be applied? The government can increase spending and reduce tax. Due to lower tax, the household will have more disposable income to spend. The higher disposable income will increase the demand in the economy and lead to higher economic growth. Therefore, the deflationary gap can be reduced. But I really want to know how our country control inflationary and deflationary gap. I think my friends can explain this.
I will explain how Malaysia control inflationary and deflationary gap.
In Malaysia, the inflation rate has increased in 2008. The inflation in Malaysia also happened due to the increase the power purchase of the most population in the country. When aggregate demand increase, many sellers and firms take advantages by increase the price of the goods to gain more profit. During inflation, the government will increase the price of the goods. For example, the price of 1 kilogram of rice in 2018 is 2 ringgit. Let's say the price of the same item has increased to 2 ringgit 50 cent in 2019. This means that the price of the same item has increased 25% from the previous year. Therefore, inflation has reduced household purchasing power. Consumer Price Index CPI of Malaysia falling in 2020 is the sharpest decline in 50 years. The effect of the COVID-19 pandemic and the movement control MCO will also translate into lower spending and lower demand price. The deflation is likely to continue in the coming months as there will be no higher spending among households who will be more aware and focused on buying necessary items. The Malaysian government issued a few package of incentive to control the economic impact of COVID-19 pandemic. This action has increased the purchasing power of households and it reduced the deflation rate.